This is Chris report, and he assured me that St. Simon's down in Boulders. Folks, this is Chris Wyatt reporting from South Africa. Hello, folks. Welcome back to the program. It's Chris live in Central Pennsylvania. Day 3 Republican National Convention. We're going live now to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where Kimberly Guilfoyle is speaking at the event. So let me go ahead and get that up on the screen here for you.
Rioters and looters go free, while Biden and the Democrats persecute American heroes like Donald Trump.
Kimberly Guilfoyle, dating the president's son.
Tens of millions of Americans are made to feel like enemies in our own country. An enemy for wanting to defend our border, for not wanting our children indoctrinated in school, for not wanting to erase our history, for praying to our God, saying what we think, and fighting for what we believe. It is no wonder that the heroes who stormed the beaches of Normandy and faced down communism sadly say they don't recognize our country anymore. This is not an accident. The powerful elites in the swamp will say anything to crush and destroy the America First movement. But we will never give up, and neither will Donald J. Trump.
Kimberly Guilfoyle, formerly of Fox News, formerly of San Francisco, ex-wife of
when I say we are fed up, we are outraged
Gruesome
about
Newsom.
sex trafficking and drug trafficking across our southern border. We are fed up with the forever wars. We are done being told by the radical left to sit down, shut up, and obey. The Democrat vision for America is governed by fear, hatred, and political oppression. Our vision is defined by a love of our country, love for our fellow citizens, and our love of freedom.
She looks very angry.
In our vision, we will secure the southern border and deport the violent criminal aliens once and for all.
Hard to believe she's married to Gruesome Newsom. She has a nice smile.
In our vision, America will combat foreign aggressors and ensure our service members are protected, not abandoned as they carry out their dangerous missions abroad. Because we know we can only have peace through strength.
All right, deterrence, that's what it's all about.
We will restore an era of national pride where freedom of speech is respected and cancel culture is ended.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Where high school girls only compete
against
with other
high
girls,
school girls.
not biological men.
Yep. Wouldn't that be nice? Reality.
Where struggling cities never put criminal illegal aliens above our heroic veterans and brave law enforcement. Where our streets are not ruled by gangs and rioters, but governed by law and order. Where students are freed from failing schools and corrupt teachers' unions through universal
Yes,
school
Courtney, I've been
choice.
saying that. You're just popping in. She was married to Gruesome Newsom.
Where our most sacred institutions are not weaponized against political opponents, but are fair, equal, and just.
And blind. That's not what we have now, though. She's not getting a very warm welcome
we
here.
Teach our children to love our country, learn our history, and respect our
Laws.
American flag. I believe in America. I believe freedom and liberty, and I believe in Donald John Trump. And I want Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and all of the radical Democrats to know this. We will not be bullied into obedience. We will not cower in silence. We will fight for America because we love America.
Do you listen to North Korean news anchors very often, Courtney? I've never heard one. Actually, I have. She's very strident. It's for effect. It's not working.
I stand before you as a working mother, a former prosecutor, a Catholic, and a proud Latina.
Oh, that explains. I didn't know she was Latina.
I know personally what every American has now seen with their own eyes. I know the measure of the man that stands before us. Donald Trump will never stop fighting for you. So join me in voting for Donald J. Trump for president again.
I will vote for Donald Trump. Trumpito. I will vote for Donald Trump. Remember that song? Yep.
Victory is in our sights. America's future is in our hands. America's destiny is in our control. And America's prosperity is in our hearts and souls. America, this is your moment. Will you stand for President Trump? Rise up! Rise up! Ladies and gentlemen, lovers of liberty and freedom and the American dream, this is our last chance to make America great again. God bless you.
Jeez.
God bless President Trump, and may God bless America.
All right, so very quickly, so Donald Trump's such a racist that his son is marrying a Latina, woman of color, brown. His daughter, Ivanka, the hottie, married a Jew. And his youngest daughter from Marla Maples is married to a Lebanese Arab. Yeah, such a racist. Boy, how does he tolerate that? We want Trump. You're not getting Trump till tomorrow.
Elected to Congress.
Michael Waltz of Florida.
I'm joined tonight by my beautiful wife, Julia, who, oh, by the way, has more combat tours than I do. Look, folks, we have deployed all over the Middle East, all over Africa, all over Afghanistan, and I have never in my lifetime seen the world falling apart like it is under Joe Biden. And that's because under President Trump, we had a president who defeated ISIS, broke Iran, stood with Israel, always stood with our allies, made China pay. You didn't see any spy balloons under President Trump.
That's true.
He deterred Russia. You know what he told Putin? You try anything, and I'll take the tops off the Kremlin. And he didn't dare, did he? He did under Obama, he did under Biden, but not under Donald J. Trump. He diffused North Korea.
Yep.
And importantly, he got our hostages home and didn't pay billions of dollars to get our Americans back.
Yeah, people forget all this.
And here's my favorite part about Donald Trump, the commander-in-chief.
First Green Beret ever serving
He
Congress.
sat across the table from the bureaucrats and the generals and said, if you don't give our troops what they need, you know what he told the generals? You're fired. You're out of here.
But he didn't fire
cleaning
him.
house.
But he didn't do it.
Everything takes too long, costs twice as much, and delivers half of what our troops need. And what do we have today? What do we have today with President Biden? What's he focused on? He's focused on pronouns.
Yep.
He's focused on renaming bases.
Yep.
He's focused on DEI. And here's my favorite. He's focused on building electric tanks. Has
Yeah.
anybody seen any charging stations in the Middle East for the Biden's electric tanks? And here's what I can tell you straight up in combat. Our enemy's bullets, listen to me folks, our enemy's bullets could give a damn about black, white, or brown, or about religion, or about gender, or about anything else. The only colors that matter in the foxhole are the red, white, and blue, baby. That's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing our military should care about. And that's the only thing our fellow soldiers care about. And that's the only thing President Trump cares about. Now, I want to tell you a story about the man, the leader, the commander-in-chief, that is Donald J. Trump. We all remember Biden's disgraceful withdrawal from Afghanistan, the debacle and the stain on our national conscience that was. The 13 Gold Star families have to relive it every day, the ones that lost their sons and daughters that disgraceful day. Biden won't even take their calls.
Yep.
He calls it an outstanding success. He won't even take a meeting with him. Well, I called President Trump. We talked about it, and he said, Michael, I would love to meet them. Get him up here.
Charlie
Get him
Kirk,
up
who
here
cares?
to Bedminster. He was scheduled, folks, hear me on this. He was scheduled to spend an hour with them. You know how long he spent?
3 hours.
He spent 6 hours.
Oh, 6 hours.
With him. He met each one. He listened. He cared. One of the moms kind of leaned over to me and she said, do you think he'll sign a picture of my son? I said, oh, hell yeah, he will. Please ask. He would be happy to. And he spent hours more. And if that wasn't enough, he then has them up to dinner. And at the start of the dinner, he promised them this. When he gets back in the White House, he will release all the tapes, all the videos, all the records, all the emails, and give these families the accountability and the transparency that they deserve and that they will never get from Joe Biden.
Well, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. If they don't destroy it in the meantime. Hey, Dave.
And then God bless this man. This is why I love this man so much. He had them laughing. He had these moms that have been through so much crying. He had them, I love this, we saw DJ Trump in action playing Sinatra, playing Phantom of the Opera. He had these moms dancing with their husbands. 2 of them came up to me afterwards and said, this was the best thing that had happened to them since they had lost their sons. That night with President Trump. Mr. President,
He's getting emotional.
Mr. President, you helped them heal. And I will forever, and they will be forever, and America will forever be grateful to you for that.
No, you're right, Courtney. Go look at Turning Point. They don't want to talk to you unless you're under 30. They think that's what matters.
Patriots, that's the Donald Trump that I've come to know. That's the Donald Trump and the commander-in-chief we all know. That's the Donald Trump the media never wants you to see. That is the Donald Trump we must have as commander-in-chief back in the White House this November. We need it, the country needs it, the world needs it, because we will once again have peace through America's strength. God bless you.
Peace through strength.
Let's
Proper
go
salute.
Fight, and let's win.
Proper salute because he's an Army veteran. First Green Beret ever serving Congress. Welcome, everybody, tonight. Courtney, Brian,
Ladies and
Ernst.
gentlemen, please give your
All Out
silent attention
Entertainment.
to the following video presentation honoring our nation's Gold Star families.
And I'm here to give voice as well for our son, Staff Sergeant Taylor Hoover.
When we started hearing that the Taliban was moving in, that there wasn't more military being deployed, and that they had decided that the Taliban was our security, that was when I became terrified. They were just kind of left there, hung out to dry.
From Afghanistan, where there are significant casualties, including some Americans from a...
I was at work and heard about it. Instantly had that just chill go through me, and I started sending messages.
I'm talking to people, I'm calling his girlfriend, I'm saying, have you heard from him? Calling his sisters, have you heard from him? You know, we're texting, we're saying, please, just send us a text, just whatever. Just let us know that you're okay.
When all the explosions went off, I had messaged her and I said, hey, you know, I know you can't say anything, but, you know, just an emoji, just a bubble.
And then 3:30 in the morning that night, I got the knock on the door. You know, there's no other reason 2 Marines are standing on your door.
Right away, they told you, we have news about your son, and he just passed away. I just start screaming, I throw myself on the floor.
I pull up the street and I see a white van. And once I saw them, I knew.
It's surreal. Seeing all those flag-draped coffins in the back of a C-17 is something you'll never forget. And it really drives home that, you know, these young men and women gave the ultimate sacrifice.
They had all the families within this large room. The president showed up and that was, it wasn't what I was expecting.
It is, Dave.
You know,
I've had that
this guy's
duty.
Sitting across from me on that tarmac, and he keeps looking at his watch.
Biden did not want to be there. I don't know what he wanted to do, but he did not want to be there. He looked at his watch multiple times. I saw it 3 times.
He didn't say anything about Riley. And to this day, he has yet to say those 13 kids' names.
And that makes me so upset because those kids were serving their country. Those kids, they were giving their life for this country. And I always said they were thinking that their commander-in-chief was gonna have their back.
Nope.
Because they were fighting for this country, and that didn't happen.
The administration, the White House, our president has never once mentioned their names, not one of them.
Honestly, I don't feel like Joe Biden cared.
He just had no empathy for us at all.
I do think incompetence played a huge factor in what happened. Bad decision, bad leadership, and it all starts at the top.
Joe Biden should not be leading this country.
Yep.
There was no point in making that hard deadline August 31st. It was 100% a political stunt.
He let my son down. He let the 13 down. He let the 45 wounded down. He let those 174 civilians down. He let our country down.
And then what it hurts the most is that they could be here.
Yep.
We fully understand we can't bring back our kids.
Should have been impeached for this.
But there are thousands and thousands more out there that are going to come home the same way if something doesn't change. We're the United States of America. We can do better by our men and women that are risking their lives for this country. We can do better for them than that.
Yep, it sure can. But not with Biden.
To this day, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have never mentioned these fallen soldiers' names. President Trump will never forget them.
Yep. Next is Christy Shamblin, Cheryl Jules, Herman Lopez, Alicia
Ladies
Lopez.
and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Gold Star families of our fallen heroes.
America. I'm Christy Shamblin. My daughter-in-law, Sergeant Nicole Leanne G. Was a United States Marine, and she was killed at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan, alongside 12 of her brothers and sister-in-arms. While Joe Biden has refused to recognize their sacrifice, Donald Trump spent 6 hours in Bedminster with us. He allowed us to grieve. He allowed us to remember our heroes. Donald Trump knew all of our children's names. He knew their stories, and he spoke to us in a way that made us feel understood, like he knew our kids. Donald Trump carried the weight for a few hours with me. Yeah. And for the first time since Nicole's death, I felt I wasn't alone in my grief. Thank you.
Hello, Patrick. Bosh.
I had expected to meet an arrogant politician. Instead, I met a man who had empathy for us. He was compassionate, and he spent time with us because he knew it would make us feel better. Thank you, President Trump.
He wasn't even in office anymore when he did this.
I'm Cheryl Jules, Nicole's aunt. Joe Biden said the withdrawal from Afghanistan was an extraordinary success.
What planet is he on?
An extraordinary success. Look at our faces. Look at our pain and our heartbreak. And look at our rage. That was not an extraordinary success. The humiliation of our nation was not an extraordinary success.
Yep. Humiliation of our nation because of a coward, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden may have forgotten that our children died, But we have not forgotten.
Joe
Donald
Biden.
Trump has not forgotten. Joe Biden owes the men and women that served in Afghanistan a debt of gratitude and an apology. Donald Trump loves this country and will never forget the sacrifice and bravery of our service members. Join us in putting him back in the White House.
Ms. Lopez now.
I'm Alicia Lopez, and this is my husband, Herman. Our son, Corporal Hunter Lopez, whose name Joe Biden has refused to say out loud, was killed on August 26, 2021. He died during Joe Biden's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Hunter was 22 years old and planned to come home to California after his tour to follow in our footsteps. Herman and I work for the Riverside County Sheriff's Office. And our family has a tradition of service in law enforcement. Hunter was excited to carry it on. Instead, in the nearly 3 years since Hunter's been gone, there has been silence. Silence from that empty space at the dinner table, where Hunter would have joined his brothers and sister and us for family gatherings. And there has been a deafening silence from the Biden and Harris administration. Despite our pleas for answers and accountability, they have pushed us away and tried to silence us. The Biden administration has not owned up to the bad decisions. They have not been transparent about their failures. And their so-called leaders work to protect themselves rather than our sons and daughters who took the oath to defend our country.
Very raw for her.
Thank you. When Hunter and the other service members' bodies were returned to the U.S. in Dover, Delaware, Joe Biden met the plane. But he made the occasion more about his son,
Yep.
lost to cancer, than our sons and daughters.
Lost in
on his
combat.
watch.
Yep.
Worse than that, he has never said their names out loud. And during last month's debate, he claimed no service members have died during his administration.
Yep, he sure did say that.
None. That hurt us all deeply. So Alicia and I are here to say the names of all 13 service members who lost their lives
Everybody's standing.
all 13 service members who lost their lives at Abbey Gate. David Espinoza. Nicole G. Taylor Hoover. Ryan C. Knaus. Riley McCollum. Dylan Marola. Kareem Nakui. Dagan Page. Johanny Pichardo. Humberto Sanchez. Jared Schmitz. Maxton Soviak. And my son, Hunter Lopez.
Wow, that was powerful. Powerful. The Democrats have nothing for this. They'll just ignore it.
Joe Biden has to go. He failed the American people. He failed the Afghan people and our military service members. He failed our family, and he failed Hunter. Donald Trump has a proven record of keeping the peace and honoring those in uniform.
Yep. Despite the lies told about him by the political left and the media. Ooh, it's loud.
All of us on this stage recognize the efforts of Mr. Trump. We know this firsthand. We've experienced it. Whenever we've met with him, he has demonstrated compassion. He has joined us on our mission for answers, and he has given hope to our extended Gold Star family.
Now, we have another son serving in the Army. And we do not trust Joe Biden with his life. We have faith that Donald Trump to lead our military. Please join us in supporting Donald Trump for President and Commander-in-Chief.
Wow. Sorry. That was powerful.
While campuses struggle to get control of their students, at UNC Chapel Hill, they are bringing order back. Students restoring the American flag and singing the national anthem.
Protesters began to take down the American flag, and that's when the guys stepped in.
Patriotic fraternity brothers stepped in and said,
Not today, Hamas.
The group of frat brothers defended the American flag from anti-Israel protesters.
I held the Israeli flag, and they held up the American flag while protesters chanted at us, screamed at us. I was told to kill myself about 50 times, called a white supremacist, a fascist.
They protected the flag for an hour. They were pelted with bottles and rocks, but they stood strong.
I think the most popular college students right now are the ones at UNC.
God bless those UNC frat guys for taking down the Palestinian flag and putting up Old Glory.
Giving us some hope there that not all college students have gone woke.
They should be celebrated for, and what be more rare is their bravery, their willingness to stand up and exhibit that patriotism and protect America.
All is not lost. In every corner of America, there are many people that love this country.
I'm very proud of these boys and very, very proud that we have parents that are raising good kids like this in our country.
I love America. There are still patriots in this country that actually want to fight and would, sacrifice themselves for this flag, this country.
It's good to know that there's some patriotic young men out there supporting the flag still out there.
Don't bend a knee to these people.
Next is Shabbos Kestenbaum, who filed a lawsuit accusing Harvard of failing to protect Jewish students from anti-Semitism. We got music here.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome country music star Brian Kelly and Anthony McGahee
That's
and the praise-motivated choir.
Granddaddy came back from war with a purple heart and a couple scars, a lot more like him out there.
All right, I'm going to have to kill that for a few minutes. Apologies for that. That was very moving, folks. I wonder why those people appeared on stage all of a sudden. Very moving. Hey, that hat looks familiar. That hat looks very familiar. Check it out. Check out that cowboy hat he's wearing, man. It's the same damn hat. That's the same hat. Look at that. It's the same hat, man. Almost identical. Yeah. So that was incredibly powerful there, folks. Let me just recap. Christy Shamblin, Cheryl Jules, Herman Lopez, and his wife Alicia Lopez, the family members, the service members killed in the debacle of Joe Biden at the Abbey Gate bombing in Kabul during the cowardly withdrawal from Afghanistan. Before that was Representative Michael Waltz of Florida, who was talking about service. Here comes, I think, the student who's filed a lawsuit against Harvard University for failing to protect Jewish students on campus and allowing a culture of Jew hatred to be present on those campuses. Kimberly Guilfoyle was before that. After Shabbos Kestenbaum, then we will have the family of Omer Nutra. He's an American-Israeli hostage being held in Gaza while Joe Biden tells the Israelis to stop attacking Hamas. They're holding him hostage. Then William Pekol, World War II veteran. That gentleman must be 100 years old. And then at the top of the hour, Donald Trump Jr., followed by Usha Vance, J.D. Vance's wife. And then finally, the keynote speaker for tonight is J.D. Vance. He'll be wrapping this thing up at the 10:30 hour here on the East Coast. It's about 50 minutes from now. He'll be speaking and wrapping it up. So that's who we still have on tap. So have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 speakers left. And that was incredibly powerful, listening to the families of service members who were lost, courtesy of Joe Biden's incompetence and his lies to America. Let me recap, folks. Joe Biden came in office and then quickly promised that he would end the war in Afghanistan with a complete U.S. withdrawal on September 11th. Never mind the arrogance of doing that on a date when America was attacked and the stupidity and foolishness of setting a date for the withdrawal. Never mind that, folks. But just keep in mind that America was not at war in Afghanistan. The war in Afghanistan had ended the year prior. There had not been a combat casualty in Afghanistan for over a year when he left. So this guy done singing now?
American flag on our campus, we knew we couldn't let that happen. We stood guard, we held it up, and we did not let it fall. It was all about respect, not just for the cloth, but for everything that the flag stands for.
This must be the UNC students.
Have sacrificed everything for it. The least we can do was keep it flying. And tonight, we are proud to honor our flag again.
Great kids. Yep, okay, so I got to turn off just in case the copyright stuff. Well, they are frat boys, Courtney.
Worst president in the history of our country. I believe that we're going to have 4 of the greatest years in the history of our country. I will once and for all secure our elections. We're going to go to paper ballots. We're going to have same-day voting, voter ID. We're going to do it properly. We're going to have good, secure, beautiful elections.
Beautiful elections.
We never want what happened in 2020 to happen again. But until then, Republicans must win. And we must use every appropriate tool available to beat the Democrats. They are destroying our country. Whether you vote early, absentee, by mail, or in person, we are going to protect the vote. That's the most important thing we have to do, is protect the vote. Keep your eyes open, because these people want to cheat, and they do cheat. And frankly, it's the only thing they do well. We will make sure your ballot is secure and your voice is heard. Many Republicans like to vote on Election Day, and we must swamp the radical Democrats with massive turnout on Tuesday, November 5th. The way you win is to swamp them. If we swamp them, they can't cheat. It just doesn't work out. But if you can't make it, you need to make a plan, register, and vote any way possible. We got to get your vote. So with your vote, we will win a victory the likes of which no one has ever seen before.
Oh, we'll see it,
We will
Reagan.
evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House, and we will take back our country on November 5th, 2024, the most important day in the history of our country. That's what it's going to go down as. Thank you.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome recent Harvard University graduate
Kestenbaum.
Shabbos Kestenbaum.
He's going to talk about the anti-Semitism on campus at Harvard.
My name is Shabbos Kestenbaum. I am a proud first-generation American. I am a proud Orthodox Jew. And as of 5 months ago, I am the proud plaintiff suing Harvard University for its failure to combat anti-Semitism.
I'm loving this. Woo!
I came to Harvard to study religion, the foundation of Western civilization. What I found was not theology, but
Indoctrination.
a contempt for it.
Yep.
My problem with Harvard is not its liberalism, but its illiberalism.
Yep, still liberalism.
Too often students at Harvard are taught not how to think,
But what?
but what to think. I found myself immersed in a culture that is anti-Western,
Anti-white.
that is anti-American, and that is anti-Semitic.
Yep.
After October 7th, the world finally saw what I and so many Jewish students across this country experienced almost every day. When I planted 1,200 Israeli and American flags on campus, they were all vandalized within 24 hours.
Yep.
I was harassed by my peers merely for being a Jew and have received countless death threats online. Students and professors have openly called for new Hamas-style attacks against the United States.
Yep.
And perhaps most damning, when Hamas terrorists butchered 45 American citizens on October 7th, when they took 12 Americans hostage, Harvard refused to immediately and unequivocally condemn this atrocity.
Yep.
My fellow Americans, the anti-Semitic bigotry, unfortunately, extends far beyond the universities.
Yep.
Although I once voted for Bernie Sanders,
Well, you're a fool.
I now recognize that the far left has not only abandoned the Jewish people, but the American people. The Democratic Party, the party I registered to vote for the day I turned 18, has become ideologically poisoned. And it is this poison, it is this corruption that is infecting far too many young American students.
Yep.
Let's be clear. The far left's anti-Semitic extremism has no virtue, and the radicalism on our campuses and on our streets has no moral legitimacy. Sadly, the far left-wing tide of anti-Semitism is rising.
Yep.
But tonight we fight
back.
I am proud to support President Trump's policies to expel foreign students who violate our laws,
Yes.
our Jewish
Yes.
class and desecrate our freedoms.
Damn Skippy.
Let's elect a president who will instill patriotism in our school once again. Let's elect a president who will confront terrorism and its supporters once again. Let's elect a president who recognizes that although Harvard and the Ivy Leagues have long abandoned the United States of America, the Jewish people never will, because Jewish values are American values, and American values are Jewish values. God bless the United States.
Woo!
God bless the land of Israel. God bless, protect, and return the American hostages in Gaza now.
Wow. Woo! Job
Ladies and
Kestenbaum.
gentlemen, please welcome the parents of an American hostage held in Gaza, Orna and Ronan Nutra.
Her son has been a hostage for 10 months. And Biden wants them to stay hostages.
Our son, Omer, is an American citizen. For 285 long days and nights, Hamas terrorists have been holding Omer imprisoned in tunnels underneath Gaza. Omer, which is a biblical name and means in Hebrew the first crop, is our firstborn. He was born in New York City 1 month after 9/11. 8 months pregnant, I walked across the Queensboro Bridge towards home that day. And here we are, 23 years later, and he's the victim of another vile terrorist attack. Let me tell you a little bit about my son. He's a connector. He's an extremely social person. He loves sports. In high school, he was captain of the soccer ball, volleyball, and basketball teams. He's a natural leader.
Camera angle.
And he cares deeply about others and about helping them grow. He turned 22 on October 14th, 2023. And instead of celebrating with us and with his friends, he spent his birthday as a hostage of Hamas terrorists. Imagine, over 9 months, not knowing whether your son is alive, waking up every morning, praying that he too is still waking up every morning, that he is strong and is surviving. I recite Psalm 23 in his merit every single day. Gam ki elech begei tzal mavet, Lo erara ki ata imadi. I walk through the shadow of the valley of the shadow of the death. I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me.
Bring them home. 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 During the brutal October 7 attack on Israel, over 1,200 people were slaughtered.
Yep.
Of them, 45 were American citizens.
Yep.
Where is
Joe
the
Biden.
outrage?
Yeah, exactly. Where's the outrage?
Where is it? This was not merely an attack on Israel.
It's an attack
This
on the
was
world.
And remains an attack on Americans. Omer is one of 8 American hostages and one of 120 hostages still left in Gaza. Citizens of 24 countries and 5 different religions, still held by Hamas, denied basic human needs, their lives threatened every day. President Trump called us personally right after the attack when Omer was taken captive. We know he stands with the American hostages. We need our beautiful son back. And we need your support. We need your support to end this crisis and bring all the hostages back home. Them home. Bring them home. Bring them home. Bring them home. Bring them home.
Omer, we love you. We won't stop fighting for you.
Say it with us. Bring them home. Bring them home. Bring them home. Thank you, everybody. God bless Israel and God bless America.
Now, World War II veteran supposed to be
Ladies
next.
and gentlemen, former paratrooper, congressman, and New York State gubernatorial candidate, Lee Zeldin.
Okay, well, that's not him. I wonder if the guy, something happened. I didn't hear Homan's speech. I was on the radio.
Hello, Wisconsin.
Lee Zeldin, they tried to kill him
Lee
too.
Zeldin from New York.
York. He wasn't scheduled for now.
A nation led by President Trump is a nation stronger, safer, and more secure. As a former 82nd Airborne paratrooper, I want a military focused on being the world's greatest fighting force, not its biggest social experiment. We need a president treating our friends as friends and our adversaries as our adversaries, understanding they only respect strength, not weakness. I was on the House Foreign Affairs Committee under 3 presidents, but only one ended wars without starting new ones.
Yep.
President Donald Trump. As one of 2 Jewish Republicans in Congress, it was amazing to witness history-making progress. strengthening the U.S.-Israel relationship under President Trump.
Yep.
Moving our embassy in
To
Israel
Jerusalem.
to Jerusalem. Recognizing Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights. And launching the Abraham Accords, which no one said was possible. Soleimani and the ISIS caliphate were eliminated. President Trump withdrew from the Iran deal. Stopped those insane ransom payments and crippled Iran with maximum pressure.
Yep. That's why they want dead.
But then everything went downhill under Biden.
That's funny, Courtney.
Yes, the guy who advised Obama not to take out Osama, Joe Biden advised against the mission that killed Osama bin Laden.
He's been wrong on every foreign policy decision for 50 years.
As an American, and especially as a New Yorker, that's unforgivable. Even in his prime, he had bad judgment.
Yep.
And it's only gotten worse with age. We cannot count on Biden to make this kind of crucial 3 a.m. decision. Heck, we can't
Not at 3
rely
p.m.
on him at 3 in the afternoon.
That's what I just said, yep.
He has refilled Iran's coffers.
Yep.
Since October 7th, Biden has pandered to anti-Semites who cheer Hamas's attack.
Yep.
All while Americans are still being held hostage in Gaza.
Yep.
Biden turned 13 Blue Star families into
Gold Star families.
with his fatal withdrawal from Afghanistan, and then he lied about it during last month's debate, claiming that no service members had died under his watch.
Yep.
We must elect President Trump. Whether building an Iron Dome defense shield at home, countering China and other bad actors abroad, or securing our borders, he will make America strong and respected again. President Trump risks everything for us.
Yep.
We need him back in the White House now more than ever before.
Thank you, Brett. $1.99.
To make America great again, we must first, and God willing, we will expand the Republican majority in the United States House of Representatives. We will flip the United States Senate. We are going to elect J.D. Vance, our next vice president. And we will make Donald J. Trump the 47th president of these United States. Thank you. God bless you. God bless President Trump and his family, and God bless America.
Representative Lee Zeldin, unsuccessful candidate for governor of New York. Zeldin was not scheduled on the list. The World War II veteran,
Here on
who's 99, was supposed to be out here.
on these bluffs, on this day 75 years ago.
Maybe he will come.
1,000 men shed their blood and thousands sacrificed their lives.
Normandy.
For their brothers, for their countries, and for the survival of liberty. Those who fought here won a future for our nation. They won the survival of our civilization, These men ran through the fires of hell, moved by a force no weapon could destroy. The fierce patriotism of a free, proud, and sovereign people. And they showed us the way to love, cherish, and defend our way of life for many centuries to come. And our children and their children will forever and always be free.
Ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
here he is.
Please welcome World War II hero, William Pekol.
He's 99 years of age. VFW member.
Thank you very much. I'm a proud Wisconsinite. I'm a proud husband of 76 years old to my wife Rosemary. I'm a father of 11 children.
Good Lord. He was busy.
6 girls, 5 boys. Our family across 5 generations and a proud World War II veteran. I'm 98 years old. Some call us the greatest generation.
Just did their duty.
That's an honor, considering America is the greatest nation in the history of the world.
Hoorah.
I will never forget and witness the horror of the Nazis' war camps. In the Battle of the Bulge, my friends and I fought to stop the Nazis' last major push in the Western Front. A few months later, Hitler was dead. The Nazis were defeated. We gave thanks to Almighty God for delivering us from evil. But not many of us came home. I still miss a lot of my friends on that beach. And there were many of us left. There aren't many of us left today. But for us, those of us who are here, that America is still worth fighting for. It hurts my heart to see what our current president and vice president have done to the country I love so well. They humiliated us in Afghanistan. We pushed around in China. Terrorists run wild in the Middle East. And they let our own southern border get overrun. America, people say, People America is an idea, but I believe America is much more than that. America is our home.
You tell him, Bill.
You know, when I was fighting in Europe, and I came back home, I kissed the ground, thanking God that I'm back home in my country. And where I come from, when somebody comes for me or my home, you dig in your boots in the ground and never look back.
Still got his teeth.
That's the attitude that saved the free world. And those years ago. And President Trump, back in Commander-in-Chief, I would go back to re-enlist.
Think you're a little past the age limit there, Bill. Oh.
And I would storm whatever beach my country needs me to fight again.
We'll fight again.
God bless you. God bless our home and the United States of America.
Wow. Bill Pekol, World War II veteran, resident of Wisconsin, veteran of Normandy in the Battle of the Bulge. All right, folks. Wow. That was powerful. That was powerful. We're down to our final speakers. The last hour, Donald Trump Jr., Usha Vance, and J.D. Vance, the vice presidential nominee. The last three for tonight on the penultimate evening. Well, not the penultimate, the night before. Next to last, yeah. Yeah, it's penultimate evening. Anyway. So they got a little intermission here while they get the gentleman off stage. 98 years old. It was in the paper, said he was 99. Yeah, so wow. So 1944, how old would he have been? So 2024 minus 90, whoops. 2024 minus 98 is 1926, 36, 46. So in 44, he would have been 17. Yep, that's about right. Wow. Very moving tonight, folks. Speakers. Texas delegation got their hats floating in the air there. The cowboy hats. There you go. Wow. Shawnee, this event ends tomorrow night. It's the last night. It's 4 nights. 5-day event, 4 nights. Yep. So now we get Donald Trump Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome businessman and Executive Vice President of the Trump Organization, Donald J. Trump Jr.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's 4 nights.
Good evening, America. Before I begin my remarks, I'm going to do something a little uncharacteristic. A Trump is going to give up the microphone.
Whoa. Yeah.
Doesn't happen often. You may never see it again. But I got a call on Monday morning from a young lady who said, Dad, I want to speak at the RNC. I want to speak at the RNC because I want America to know what my grandpa is actually like.
Wow.
So for the first time ever on a stage, first time ever giving a speech, I want to bring out my eldest daughter and the eldest granddaughter of the President of the United States, your favorite president, Kai Madison Trump.
Wow. Wow.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kai Madison Trump. I am the granddaughter of Donald Trump. I'm speaking today to share the side of my grandpa that people don't often see. To me, he's just a normal grandpa. He gives us candy and soda when our parents aren't looking. He always wants to know how we're doing in school. When I made the high honor roll, he printed it out to show his friends how proud he was of me. He calls me during the middle of the school day to ask how my golf game is going and tells me all about his.
Of course.
But then I have to remind him that I'm in school and I'll have to call him back later. When we play golf together, if I'm not on his team, he'll try to get inside of my head. I know. And he's always surprised that I don't let him get to me. But I have to remind him I'm a Trump too.
Oh, this is brilliant.
Even when he's going through all these court cases, he always asks me how I'm doing. He always encourages me to push myself to be the most successful person I can be. Obviously, he sets the bar pretty high, but who knows? Maybe one day I'll catch him. On Saturday, I was shocked when I heard that he has been shot, and I just wanted to know if he was okay. It was heartbreaking that someone would do that to another person. A lot of people have put my grandpa through hell, and he's still standing.
Why does she have that accent? Has she been raised abroad?
Grandpa, you are such an inspiration, and I love you. The media makes my grandpa seem like a different person, but I know him for who he is. He's very caring and loving. He truly wants the best for this country, and he will fight every single day to make America great again. Thank you very much.
Lovely young lady. Oh, thank you, Beth, for the super chat. $20. Awesome note. Lovely young lady. Yeah, who's it for? The granddaughter, Eric, or Don Jr. or Don? Trump.
A lot of proud moments this week for my family. Thank you again, guys. Really appreciate that. That's not easy. That's the first time. I mean, this is what we call a large crowd for a speech, so incredible work, Kai.
Yep.
Now, back to business. Guys. Thank you, sir. Tonight we gather here in Milwaukee at one of the most crucial moments in American history. Just days ago, something that once seemed unimaginable became a terrifying reality.
Yep.
My father came under literal fire as an incredible patriotic rally turned into a tragedy. On a field in Butler, Pennsylvania, a brave firefighter died. Others were injured.
Yeah.
And as those bullets rained down, we came millimeters away from one of the darkest moments in our nation's history. But we did lose an American hero that day. We wish that he were with us tonight. But his memory will live on forever in the hearts of his family, his community, and the nation that he loved. So I would like to take just a moment tonight to express our gratitude for the life and service of American hero Corey Comparator. They say you can't truly know how you'll respond in a moment of danger until you're actually confronted with it. So what was my father's instinct as his life was on the line? Not to cower, not to surrender, but to show for all the world to see that the next American president has the heart of a lion.
Yep.
That the next American president has the courage to put the American people first once again. And in that moment, my father didn't just show his character, he showed America's character.
Yep.
When he stood up with blood on his face and the flag at his back, the world saw a spirit that could never be broken. And that is the true spirit of America. America knows what it's like to be down. We know what it's like to be confused and to be afraid. Long before the attempt on my father's life, every American I met was filled with fear and anxiety. They were afraid our country was being torn apart. They were anxious about the massive and chaotic invasion of illegal aliens across our border. They were deeply concerned about partisan lawfare, education indoctrination, and attacks on freedom of speech. Most terrifying of all, they saw that our leaders didn't care, or worse, that they joyfully aided and abetted the erosion of our rights. And the lies. Oh yeah, the lies. We won't ever forget the lies. From left-wing politicians, from their allies in the media. When you hear them in a row, you fully understand the extent they have gone to divide this great nation.
Yep.
They lied about Russia collusion. They lied about Hunter's laptop. They lied about Joe Biden's fitness for office. They lied about the border being secure. They lied about inflation being transitory. They lied about how they would safely withdraw from Afghanistan. They lied about Biden being a, quote, moderate. And they told one nonstop lie after another about my father.
Yep.
But they could only run away from reality for so long. All hell has broken loose in America, and it's impossible to hide anymore. Remember Build Back Better?
Yeah.
Instead, we got broke, bumbling Biden. Nothing is built, nothing is back, and nothing is better.
Better. Yeah, well said, Don.
Bridges are collapsing, our credibility is crumbling, and our money is worth less and less every single day.
Ain't it the truth?
It was just one giant bait and switch, and normal Americans are the ones left holding the bag.
Yep.
Housing costs, gasoline prices, grocery bills just keep going up. Wave after wave of illegal aliens, deadly drugs keep pouring across our border. Meanwhile, pro-crime district attorneys have turned our cities into giant crime zones.
War zones.
They've turned criminals into victims,
Yep.
prosecutors into criminal defense attorneys,
Yep.
and police into public enemies.
Yep.
Left-wing activists are pretending to be educators, teaching our kids that there are 57 genders, but they can't even define what a woman is.
Yep.
On one hand, they think free speech protects their right to expose your children to explicit drag shows. On the other hand, they want to put you in jail for making a meme.
Yep.
It's like the entire world has been turned
Upside down. Yep.
Does any of this sound like a country that's going in the right direction?
Nope.
And honestly, who is actually running the country anyway?
It's not mumbles.
It's obviously not Joe Biden. So who are they asking us to elect? Seriously, who's running things?
Susan
Does
Rice.
anyone really know? Is it Jill? Is it Hunter?
Hunter.
Barack Obama?
Maybe.
Maybe it's the ghost of Corn Pop.
The ghost of Corn Pop.
Whoever is running the show, the
You're right,
only
Amanda.
thing they are effective at is persecuting my father.
Yep, that's all they're good at.
They twisted, contorted, and corrupted the criminal code to turn bookkeeping errors into felonies. They concocted new legal theories out of thin air. They imposed gag orders on my father because the last thing a defendant should be able to do is
Defend himself.
right? They punished him for merely speaking the truth. They say they hate Vladimir Putin, but it sure seems like they spend
love
a lot
him.
of time copying his playbook.
Yep.
In this country, we don't criminalize political differences.
The left
we
does.
debate them. We vote on them. But we don't make you choose between
Thank you, Courtney.
picking a party or picking a jail cell.
Not a conservative, which the country will only decline if Biden wins. Oh, yeah, they'll collapse. Corn Pop was a bad
There was
dude
time when the Democrats really wanted what was best for America.
50 years
Even if
ago.
They had a different way of getting there. It was the party of Franklin Roosevelt, John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King Jr.
King was
You may
a
have
Republican.
disagreed with that party, but at least you could respect it. But this new extreme Democrat Party, they want us to somehow believe that the only way forward is going backwards, where hiring decisions are based solely on race, where justice is only for those with the right opinions,
Yep.
where streets are a luxury only for the elite, where economic opportunity exists only when you know the right people. Right now, the America we all grew up with, the America that we love, feels like an old photograph where you sit down with your children and tell them what
Nostalgia.
life used to be like.
Yep.
You look back at that America and remember a country that was confident and proud, an America that knew who it was and what it stood for. And it could all feel like a distant memory. Somewhere along the way we stumbled. Somewhere along the way we lost ourselves. But we can't live on nostalgia. Yes, America was great, but our greatest days are yet to come.
Courtney, that's what I said. Martin Luther King was a Republican. I said that. He misspoke. They'll fact check him on that too. It's a good speech, though.
Because no matter how far off that old photo may feel, it's not the end of our story. We're like that man who stood on that platform and felt the bullet pierce his flesh just days ago in Pennsylvania. He may have moved to the ground, but he stood back up.
Stood his ground and inspired a nation.
And when he did, my father raised his fist into the air. He looked out at the crowd, and what did he say?
Wow, they really screwed up trying to take out Trump.
And we will fight. We will fight. We will fight with our voices. We will fight with our ideas. And on November 5th, we will fight with our vote.
Yep.
I've always been proud of him, but I've never been prouder of my father than I was in that moment. That's when the world found out that there is tough, and then there's Trump tough.
That's better than Ford tough. Trump tough.
And the good news is, America is Trump tough.
Tough.
In 1912, more than a century ago, another legendary Republican president came
Teddy Roosevelt
to Milwaukee. At a political rally less than 1 mile from where we stand tonight, Teddy Roosevelt was struck by a would-be assassin's bullet. But he didn't quit either. He finished his speech and he kept fighting. My friends, I don't believe in coincidences, but I do believe in God's plan.
Well, there you go, Amanda.
Today, Teddy Roosevelt's man in the arena has a name, and it's Donald J. Trump. Remember, my father didn't have to run for re-election this year.
Nope, he wouldn't have any court cases if he hadn't.
The fame, the power, frankly, he doesn't need the witch hunts, the phony investigations, or
Yep.
the political prosecutions either.
Yep.
But
Or the
he
assassination
knew he had
attempt.
to run if there was any chance at saving America. He's not doing it for himself. He's doing it for everyone here tonight, for everyone watching at home.
Devin Nunes.
No matter who you are, you can be a part of this movement to make America great again. Look at me and my friend J.D. Vance, a kid from Appalachia and a kid from Trump Tower in Manhattan. We grew up worlds apart, yet now we're both fighting side by side to save the country we love. And by the way, J.D. Vance is going to make one hell of a vice president.
Oh, that remains to be seen, Don.
For those of you who have tuned out politics or have never even voted, I want you to know, if you're looking for a better life, a more prosperous future, a safer, more wholesome and patriotic place to call home, there's room for you in this party and in this movement. In fact, you're the ones who matter most of all. My father has always said that the people he gets along with best are the people who really work for a living. It's because of his background as a builder in construction, right? In construction, it doesn't matter how smart your architect is if you don't have the best guys laying the bricks. People with grit, people who get their hands dirty. That's a big problem with Washington, D.C. Most of the bureaucrats who rule over us have never built anything in their lives.
They've destroyed things or stolen
It's
things.
time to build something real, something tangible, something that will last and leave this country better off for our children. That's my father's mission. This November, we have a choice. It's a choice between one team that wants to build this country up and another that wants to tear this country down.
That's a true statement there.
It's a choice between people who are proud of America and people who are ashamed of America.
Yep.
And ultimately, it's a choice between America last and America first.
Yep. All right, Dave. I don't really have a choice.
So if you love this country from the bottom of your heart, if you want to bring back common sense, if you want to save the American dream, if you want to stand up and fight for the future of our nation, you must re-elect my father, Donald J. Trump. Together, we will make America great once again. Thank you.
That's a pretty good speech. Well delivered. That was really cool. He had his daughter come out there. That was pretty cool. 2 speakers left tonight. J.D. Vance's wife and then J.D. Vance. All right, got to turn that down, folks. All right, so 2 speakers left at the Republican convention tonight. Just 2 remaining. It's J.D. Vance's wife and then J.D. Vance himself, the vice presidential nominee for the Republican Party. You can see all those cowboy hats, not just for Texas, but Texas is the big cluster of them. The rest, I'm guessing, might be like Oklahoma and New Mexico, where people tend to wear cowboy hats as well. Maybe Colorado, who knows? Yeah, but yeah, so they're singing a song now. Then we got 2 final speakers here. We're way behind here, folks, probably 10, 15 minutes at least behind for this evening. Yeah, but the sad part about this convention is it will be coming to an end. Tomorrow is the final night. Donald Trump will speak tomorrow. We don't know who the other speakers will be, but somebody said earlier that Eric Trump will be speaking tomorrow. J.D. Vance's wife was portrayed by Frida Pinto in the film adaptation of Hillbilly. Okay. I never knew there was a film adaptation of that book. Yeah, this is Celebrity Fame by J.D. Vance. No accomplishments to speak of. Trump can kick Chuck. I don't know about kicking Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is pretty impressive. He's in his 80s too, and he's still fit. What a life that guy's led. Corn Pop. That guy looks like he's dressed up like Evel Knievel there. It's pretty funny. That chair is loose. What's going on here? It shouldn't be moving like this. I think the screws are coming loose on my chair. I have to adjust it. Myra Vivek wasn't chosen for vice president. I mean, it's sad that he wasn't. How does YouTube strike music meant for public watching this event? It blows my mind. The copyright laws are so screwed up. Yeah, it's not the copyright laws. It's YouTube. YouTube's automated software. So, again, for instance, I have some public domain software which YouTube itself made available for use. So, content creators, you can use this music. It didn't even have to attribute it. Sometimes you have to give attribution. So, I use that in so many videos for background music. When I was in Wyoming, other events, I used it for some downtime during live streams. And I used it probably on hundreds of videos. And then suddenly, a couple of months ago, I started getting copyright claims, and it says I couldn't monetize my videos from 3 and 4 years ago. I'm like, what the heck is this? So I looked, and it was that music. So I took the time before I went to South Africa to research, or was when I came back from South Africa, I can't remember which, maybe when I came back. I researched that stuff. I found the license, the public domain license. You know, people can use it. It says it's public domain. The attribution. I appealed it. I appealed that video, sent it in an appeal to YouTube. They agreed, and they rescinded the copyright claim because it's in the public domain. They never notified me. I got another claim on the same one. I'm like, what the heck is this? And so I went looking for the original one, and there was no message. They never even told me that they approved it. So I went back to that video. Fortunately, I remember which one it was because I hadn't deleted the message yet, and I knew which date it was. And I went back to 2021, and that video was no longer with a copyright claim. So my copyright refutation was successful, but they didn't tell me. And ever since that day, every single day, I get videos that can't be monetized going back 2 and 3 years ago. It's all bullshit. It's YouTube. And it should have been a blanket coverage, and it should never have made a copyright claim for public domain music. It's just ridiculous. But that's what we have to deal with. Now they're pushing J.D. Vance.
Or a United States senator. Or our next vice president. But here he is, born into poverty.
Oh, take a number.
His family torn apart by drug addiction.
Oh, we didn't have drugs.
No money, no prospects, no future. JD joined the Marine Corps, used the GI Bill to attend college, then went to Yale and earned a law degree and shared his heartbreaking story in a best-selling book. Only in America is this story possible. But
that's
today,
true.
For many families, the American dream is now gone. And this is the team tough enough to bring it back. J.D. Vance understands that working families have become the forgotten families. Under Biden, wages are going down while prices skyrocket, forcing the majority of Americans to live paycheck to paycheck. Working families will have J.D. Vance fighting for them. Seniors, JD will have your backs too. No more deciding between putting food on your table and paying for the prescriptions you need. As a husband and father, JD knows the importance of fighting for a parent's right to protect their children. And you can count on this Marine to stand up for our soldiers who put their lives on the line for their country every day. J.D. Vance's story is one of perseverance, of duty, of commitment to what's right. It's an American story, and it's just getting started.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Usha Vance.
This is his wife now, the Indian. Okay, I can stop the music here before I get a copyright strike. All right, thank you. Okay, stop the music for God's sake. Jesus, let her talk.
Good evening. Good evening. When I was asked to introduce my husband, J.D. Vance, to all of you, I was at a loss. What could I say that hasn't already been said before? After all, the man was already the subject of a Ron Howard movie. J.D. has shared much of his life through his own eloquent words. In his book, Hillbilly Elegy, during his Senate campaign, and now as a sitting United States Senator. It occurred to me that there was only one thing to do: to explain from the heart why I love and admire JD and stand here beside him today, and why he will make a great Vice President of the United States. I met JD in law school when he was fresh out of Ohio State, which he attended with the support of the GI Bill. We were friends first because, who wouldn't want to be friends with JD? He was then, as now, the most interesting person I knew. A working class guy who had overcome childhood traumas that I could barely fathom to end up at Yale Law School. A tough Marine who had served in Iraq, but whose idea of a good time was playing with puppies and watching the movie Babe. One overriding ambition: to become a husband and a father, and to build the kind of tight-knit family that he had longed for as a child. My background is very different from JD's. I grew up in San Diego, in a middle-class community with two loving parents, both immigrants from India, and a wonderful sister.
Well, you had a good life.
That
We
JD
didn't.
and I could meet at all, let alone fall in love and marry, is a testament to this great country. It is also a testament to JD, and it tells you something about who he is. When JD met me, he approached our differences with curiosity and enthusiasm. He wanted to know everything about me, where I came from, what my life had been like. Although he's a meat and potatoes kind of guy, he adapted to my vegetarian diet and learned to cook food from my mother, Indian food.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Before I knew it, he had become an integral part of my family, a person I could not imagine living without. The JD I knew then is the same JD you see today, except for that beard. And his
Guess you
goals
didn't like the
in
beard.
this new role are the same that he has pursued for our family: to keep people safe, to create opportunities, to build a better life, and to solve problems with an open mind. It's safe to say that neither JD nor I expected to find ourselves in this position, but it's hard to imagine a more powerful example of the American dream. A boy from Middletown, Ohio.
The Ohio delegation.
Raised by his grandmother through tough times, chosen to help lead our country through some of its greatest challenges. I am grateful to all of you for the trust you have placed in him and in our family. And with that, it is my great privilege to introduce my husband and the next Vice President of the United States, JD Vance.
We don't need the country music. Sorry about that, folks. We're playing some country music. Hang on. I guess we're going to sing. Oh, jeez. They're going to sing a country music song. Can we just hear the speech? We're already 16 minutes behind. Okay, here we go. Here we go, finally. Stop the music. Jeez, can we hear the candidate? Nope, sorry.
Thank you, please.
Thank you.
Wow. Wow.
He's gray at 39. I didn't get gray till my 50s. Mid-50s. Secret Service guy.
Yeah. First of all, aren't I a lucky guy? Isn't she lovely? Isn't it amazing? Greetings, Milwaukee, my fellow Americans and my fellow Republicans. My name is J.D. Vance from the great state of Ohio. Tonight, O-H-I-O, O-H-I-O.
Okay, let's come on, just talk.
You guys, we're gonna chill with the Ohio love. We got to win Michigan too here. So.
That's because you don't know anything about Ohio Arctic. It is the heart of America. Represents everything in America. Got it all.
My friends, tonight is a
Also
night
produced
of
the
hope.
most presidents in American
A
history.
celebration of what America once was, and with God's grace, what it will soon be again.
I live there. I'm a fan.
And it is a reminder of the sacred duty we have to preserve the American experiment, to choose a new path for our children and grandchildren. But as we meet tonight, we cannot forget that this evening could have been so much different.
No, most
Instead of a
Syracuse
day
come
of
from
celebration,
California.
This could have been a day of heartache and mourning.
Yep.
For the last 8 years, President Trump has given everything he has to fight for the people of our country.
And you called him Hitler. You were a never Trumper just a couple years ago. Till you needed help in your campaign to win.
He didn't need politics, but the country needed him.
Not according to you in 2021.
Now, prior to running for president, he was one of the most successful businessmen in the world. He had everything anyone could ever want in a life. And yet, instead of choosing the easy path, he chose to endure abuse, slander, and persecution. And he did it because he loves this country.
Some people not sold on J.D. Vance.
I want all Americans to go and watch the video of a would-be assassin coming a quarter of an inch from taking his life. Consider the lies they told you about Donald Trump, and then look at that photo of him, defiant, fist in the air, when Donald Trump rose to his feet in that Pennsylvania field. All of America stood with him.
Not the left. They were upset that he didn't die. His wife went up there.
And what did he call us to do for our country? To fight. To fight for America. Even in his most perilous moment, we were on his mind. His instinct was for us, for our country, to call us to something higher, to something greater, to once again be citizens who ask what our country needs of us. Now consider what they said. They said he was a tyrant. They said he must be stopped at all costs.
Yep, that's what they said.
But how did he respond? He called for national unity, for national calm, literally right after an assassin nearly took his life.
Yep.
He remembered the victims of the terrible attack, especially the brave Corey Compertori, who gave his life to protect his family.
Yep.
God bless him.
Yeah, he'll destroy Kamala Harris in
And then
debate.
President Trump flew to Milwaukee and got back to work.
Yep, true story. He bandaged him up. He went back to work.
Now that's the man I've gotten to know personally over the last few years. He is tough, and he is, but he cares about people. He can stand defiant against an assassin one moment and call for national healing the next. He is a beloved father and grandfather, and of course, a once-in-a-generation business leader. He's the man who is feared by America's adversaries, but 2 nights ago, and I'll share a moment, said goodnight to his 2 boys, told them he loved them, and made sure to give each of them a kiss on the cheek. And I will say, Don and Eric squirmed the same way my 4-year-old does when his daddy tries to give him a kiss on the cheek. Sorry, guys. He is all those things, but tonight we celebrate he is our once and future President of the United States of America. Now, I want to respond to his call for unity myself. We have a big tent in this party on everything from national security to economic policy. But my message to you, my fellow Republicans, is we love this country and we are united to win. Right. Now, I think our disagreements actually make us stronger. That's what I've learned in my time in the United States Senate, where sometimes I persuade my colleagues and sometimes they persuade me. And my message to my fellow Americans, those watching from across the country, is shouldn't we be governed by a party that is unafraid to debate ideas and come to the best solution?
I like that hat. It blew it. It's nice.
That's the Republican Party of the next 4 years, united in our love for this country and committed to free speech and the open exchange of ideas.
Free speech. That'd be nice.
And so tonight, Mr. Chairman, I stand here humbled, and I'm overwhelmed with gratitude to say I officially accept your nomination to be Vice President of the United States of America. Now, never in my wildest imagination could I have believed that I'd be standing here tonight. I grew up in Middletown.
It's almost
Ohio.
over, Courtney.
A small town where people spoke their minds, built with their hands.
It's
and
not
loved
part of
God,
Appalachia.
Their family, their community, and their country with their whole hearts.
Middletown's not part of Appalachia.
But it was also a place that had been cast aside and forgotten by America's ruling class in Washington. When I was in the 4th grade, a career politician by the name of Joe Biden supported NAFTA, a bad trade deal that sent countless good jobs to Mexico. When I was a sophomore in high school, that same career politician named Joe Biden gave China a sweetheart trade deal that destroyed even more good American middle-class manufacturing jobs.
I was defending the country when you were in school.
When I was a senior in high school, that same Joe Biden supported the disastrous invasion of Iraq, and at each step of the way, in small towns like mine in Ohio or next door in Pennsylvania or Michigan, in states all across our country, jobs were sent overseas and our children were sent to war. And
No, they weren't. We were volunteers. Republicans are the ones who put us in the war. See, that's just rhetoric, not helpful rhetoric, distorting history.
I agree.
Hey, Tibet.
And somehow, a real estate developer from New York City by the name of Donald J. Trump was right on all of these issues while Biden was wrong.
That's true.
President Trump knew even then that we needed leaders who would put America first. Now, thanks to these policies that Biden and other out-of-touch politicians in Washington gave us, our country was flooded with cheap Chinese goods, with cheap foreign labor, and in the decades to come, deadly Chinese fentanyl. Joe Biden screwed up, and my community paid the price. Now, I was lucky. Despite the closing factories and the growing addiction in towns like mine, in my life, I had a guardian angel by my side. She was an old woman who could barely walk, but she was tough as nails. I called her Mamaw, the name we hillbillies gave to our grandmothers. Mamaw raised me as Mamaw raised me as my mother struggled with addiction. Mamaw was in so many ways a woman of contradiction. She loved the Lord, ladies and gentlemen. She was a woman of very deep Christian faith. But she also loved the F word.
Good for her.
I'm not kidding. She could make a sailor blush. Now, she once told me, when she found out that I was spending too much time with a local kid who was known for dealing drugs, that if I ever hung out with that kid again, she would run him over with her car.
All right.
It's true. And she said, JD, no one will ever find out about it. Now, thanks to that Mamaw, things worked out for me. After 9/11, I did what thousands of other young men my age did in that time of soaring patriotism and love of country. I enlisted in the United States Marines. Semper Fi to my fellow Marines. Now, I left the Marines after 4 years and went to the Ohio State University.
Sorry about the video freezing, folks.
I'm sorry, Michigan. I had to get that in there.
Yeah, well, it's not. See, he's an idiot. That's not what the argument is. It's not with Michigan. It's with Ohio University. Oh, typical person doesn't know what they're talking about.
Come on. We've had enough political violence. Now, after Ohio State, I went to Yale Law School, where I met my beautiful wife. And then I started businesses to create jobs in the kind of places that I grew up in. Now, my work taught me that there is still so much talent and grit in the American heartland. There really is. But for these places to thrive, my friends, we need a leader who fights for the people who built this country.
Which interview, Devette? On Biz News?
We need a leader who's not in the pocket of big business, but answers to the working man, union and non-union alike.
Okay, thanks, Devette. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good interview, too, but I thought
A leader who won't sell out to multinational corporations, but will stand up for American companies and American industry.
I thought my 5-minute discussion of the assassination attempt on Trump was pretty good, too, on Biz News.
A leader who rejects Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's Green New scam and fights to bring back our great American factories. We need President Donald J. Trump.
He's got a good presence, but I'm not impressed with the speech.
Some people tell me I've lived the American dream, and of course they're right, and I'm so grateful for it. But the American dream that always counted most was not starting a business or becoming a senator.
It's raising
or
a family.
Here with you fine people, though it's pretty awesome. My most important American dream was becoming a good husband and a good dad.
I knew that was where it was coming.
I wanted to give my kids the things that I didn't have when I was growing up. And that's the accomplishment that I'm proudest of. That tonight, I'm joined by my beautiful wife, Usha, an incredible lawyer and a better mom, and our 3 beautiful kids, Ewan, who's 7, Vivek, who's 4, and Mirabelle, who's 2. Now, they're back at the hotel, and kids, if you're watching, Daddy loves you very much, but get your butts in bed. It's 10 o'clock. But my friends, things did not work out well for a lot of kids I grew up with.
Yeah, she didn't say much about
Every
me.
now and then, I will get a call from a relative back home who asks, "Did you know so-and-so?" And I'll remember a face from years ago, and then I'll hear they died of an overdose. As always, America's ruling class wrote the checks.
Better than
Communities
Pence.
like mine paid the price. For decades, that divide between the few with their power and comfort in Washington and the rest of us only widened. From Iraq to Afghanistan, from the financial crisis to the Great Recession, from open borders to stagnating wages, the people who govern this country have failed and failed again. That is, of course, until a guy named Donald J. Trump came along. President Trump represents America's last best hope to restore what, if lost, may never be found again. A country where a working-class boy born far from the halls of power can stand on this stage as the next vice president of the United States of America.
He seems to have a thing for India, doesn't he? Yep, he was very much anti-Trump until 2021.
But my fellow Americans,
Never
here on
Trumper.
this stage and watching at home, this moment is not about me. It's about all of us, and it's about who we're fighting for. It's about the auto worker in Michigan wondering why out-of-touch politicians are destroying their jobs. It's about the factory worker in Wisconsin who makes things with their hands and is proud of American craftsmanship.
Not much of that left.
It's about the energy worker in Pennsylvania and Ohio who doesn't understand why Joe Biden is willing to buy energy from tin pot dictators across the world when he could buy it from his own citizens right here in our own country.
And they shut us down. They shut down our fracking in Pennsylvania and our oil exploration. Yeah, he's a never-Trumper. Only won in Ohio because Trump supported him for the Senate 2 years ago.
You guys are a great crowd. Wow.
Get on with it. I want to go to bed.
And
Yes, we are. People actually repeating that. Yes, we are. Great. Shut up. Oh, gosh. It's just so boring. I'm going to dig into my mail here and read my mail.
And it's about, our movement is about single moms like mine who struggled with money and addiction but never gave up. And I'm proud to say that tonight my mom is here, 10 years clean and sober. I love you, Mom.
Wow. Druggy. Oh, come on. Let's get to it.
And you know, Mom, I was thinking, it'll be 10 years officially in January of 2025. And if President Trump's okay with it, let's have the celebration in the White House.
Yes, Dave, a person can change their mind. But this man is privileged, arrogant, and condescending and insulting, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. He calls Middleton Appalachia. It's not. He insults white people in
our
Appalachia.
Movement, ladies and gentlemen, it's about grandparents all across this country who are living on Social Security and raising grandchildren they didn't expect to raise. And while we're on the topic of grandparents, let me tell you another Mamaw story.
Oh, jeez.
Now, my Mamaw died shortly before I left for Iraq in 2005. And when we went through her things, we found 19 loaded handguns. They were...
Yeah, good. She's an Ohioan. I had 30 rifles and shotguns when I lived in Ohio.
Now, the thing is, they were stashed all over her house, under her bed, in her closet, in the silverware drawer.
She was ready.
And we wondered what was going on, and it occurred to us that towards the end of her life, Mamaw couldn't get around so well. And so this frail old woman made sure that no matter where she was,
had a gun.
She was within arm's length of whatever she needed to protect her family.
Yeah.
That's who we fight for. That's American spirit. Now, Joe Biden has been a politician in Washington for longer than I've been alive.
Yep.
39 years old.
50 years in Washington.
Kamala Harris is not much further behind. For half a century, he's been the champion of every major policy initiative to make America weaker and poorer.
Yep.
And in 4
Good night, Amanda.
short years,
Thanks for being
Donald
here.
Trump reversed decades of betrayals inflicted by Joe Biden and the rest of the corrupt Washington insiders.
Yep, not just Democrats, but Republicans as well.
He created the greatest economy in history for workers. Really was amazing. There's this chart that shows worker wages, and they stagnated for pretty much my entire life until President Donald J. Trump came along. Workers' wages went through the roof.
Yeah, so why were you a never Trumper then?
And just imagine what he's going to do when we give him 4 more years.
He needs to fix the Department of Justice and go after all these criminals in the deep state. You guys are inferring incorrectly. I just don't trust him. I'm going to vote Trump Vance. Don't worry about that. But I'll explain at the end. Just hang tight after
Months
this.
ago, I heard some young family member observe that their parents' generation, the baby boomers, could afford to buy a home when they first entered the workforce. But I don't know, this person observed, if I'll ever be able to afford a home. The absurd cost of housing is the result of so many failures, and it reveals so much about what's broken in Washington.
Government intrusion in the marketplace.
Exactly how it happened. Wall Street barons crashed the economy, and American builders went out of business.
That's horseshit. He's wrong.
As tradesmen scrambled for jobs, houses stopped being built.
That's not true.
The lack of good jobs, of course, led to stagnant wages.
Yeah.
And then the Democrats flooded this country with millions of illegal aliens.
That was happening the whole time.
So citizens had to compete with people who shouldn't even be here for precious housing.
That's only been the last 3 years.
The inflation crisis, my friends, is really an affordability crisis.
This problem is 50 years
Many
old.
of the people that I grew up with can't afford to pay more for groceries, more for gas, more for rent, and that's exactly what Joe Biden's economy has given them.
But you can afford it. Can we get through the speech, please, so I can wrap this up? There's nothing new here. He's just telling fairy tales.
So prices soared, dreams were shattered, And China and the cartels sent fentanyl across the border, adding addiction to the heartache.
We had addiction
Ladies
already.
and gentlemen, that is not the end of our story. We've heard about villains and their victims. I've talked a lot about that, but let me tell you about the future. President Trump's vision is so simple and yet so powerful. We're done, ladies and gentlemen, catering to Wall Street. We'll commit to the working man.
Correct, Anthony.
We're done importing foreign labor. We're going to fight for American citizens and their good jobs and their good wages. We're done buying energy from countries that hate us. We're going to get it right here from American workers in Pennsylvania and Ohio and across the country. We're done sacrificing supply chains to unlimited global trade, and we're going to stamp more and more products with that beautiful label, Made in the USA. We're going to build factories again, put people to work making real products for American families made with the hands of American workers. Together, we will protect the wages of American workers and stop the Chinese Communist Party from building their middle class on the backs of American citizens.
This is what's wrong with politics. This is bullshit.
Together, we will make sure our allies share in the burden of securing world peace. No more free rides for nations that betray the generosity of the American taxpayer.
You mean like Canada?
Together, we will send our kids to war only when we must. But as President Trump showed with the elimination of ISIS and so much more, when we punch, we're going to punch hard. Together, we will put the citizens of America first, whatever the color of their skin. We will, in short, make America great again. You know, one of the things that you hear people say sometimes is that America is an idea. And to be clear, America was indeed founded on brilliant ideas like the rule of law and religious liberty, things written into the fabric of our Constitution and our nation. But America is not just an idea. It is a group of people with a shared history and a common future. It is, in short, a nation. Now, it is part of that tradition, of course, that we welcome newcomers. But when we allow newcomers into our American family, we allow them on our terms. That's the way we preserve the continuity of this project from 250 years past to hopefully 250 years in the future. And let me illustrate this with a story, if I may. I'm, of course, married to the daughter of South Asian immigrants to this country. Incredible people. People who genuinely have enriched this country in so many ways. And, of course, I'm biased because I love my wife and her family, but it's true. Now, when I proposed to my wife, we were in law school, and I said, honey, I come with $120,000 worth of law school debt and a cemetery plot on a mountainside in eastern Kentucky.
No, we'll go to the end. Hopefully it won't be much longer.
I guess standing here tonight, it's just gotten weirder and weirder, honey. But that's what she was getting. Now, that cemetery plot in eastern Kentucky is near my family's ancestral home. And like a lot of people, we came from the mountains of Appalachia into the factories of Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
No, it's fine, Dave. I'm not tired. I'm just tired listening to him. But I'm committed to staying with this.
Country, one of the 10
You guys stuck with me, so let him finish blathering on, and then I'll give you my analysis. And you'll understand where I really stand on J.D. Vance. It's important to hear that.
It's one of the 10 poorest counties in the entire United States of America. They are very hardworking people, and they're very good people. They're the kind of people who would give you the shirt off their back even if they can't afford enough to eat. And our media calls them privileged and looks down on them. But they love this country, not only because it's a good idea, but because in their bones they know that this is their home, and it will be their children's home, and they would die fighting to protect it.
Yeah, they would. None of them joined the military. Only a handful. This is J.D. Vance, the senator from Ohio, made for television, fabricated candidate.
That is the source of America's greatness. As a United States Senator, I get to represent millions of people in the great state of Ohio with similar stories, and it is the great honor of my life. Now, in that cemetery, there are people who were born around the time of the Civil War. And if, as I hope, my wife and I are eventually laid to rest there, and our kids follow us, there will be 7 generations just in that small mountain cemetery plot in eastern Kentucky. 7 generations of people who have fought for this country, who have built this country, who have made things in this country, and who would fight and die to protect this country if they were asked to. Now that's not just an idea, my friends. That's not just a set of principles. Even though the ideas and the principles are great, that is a homeland. That is our homeland. People will not fight for abstractions, but they will fight for their home. And if this movement of ours is going to succeed, and if this country is going to thrive, our leaders have to remember that America is a nation and its citizens deserve leaders who put its interests first. Now, we won't agree on every issue, of course, not even in this room. We may disagree from time to time about how best to reinvigorate American industry and renew American family. That's fine. In fact, it's more than fine. It's good. But never forget that the reason why this united Republican Party exists, why we do this, why we care about those great ideas and that great history, is that we want this nation to thrive for centuries to come. Now, eventually in that mountain cemetery, my children will lay me to rest. And when they do, I would like them to know that thanks to the work of this Republican Party, the United States of America is as strong and as proud and as great as ever.
His wife's speech was a lot better.
That is who we serve, my friends. That is who we fight for. And the only thing that we need to do right now, the most important thing that we can do for those people, for that American nation that we all love, is to re-elect Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. Mr. President, I will never take for granted the trust you have put in me. And what an honor it is to help achieve the extraordinary vision that you have for this country. Now, I pledge to every American, no matter your party, I will give you everything I have to serve you and to make this country a place where every dream you have for yourself, your family, and your country will be possible once again. And I promise you one more thing. To the people of Middletown, Ohio, and all the forgotten communities in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, and every corner of our nation, I promise you this. I will be a vice president who never forgets where he came from. And every single day for the next 4 years, when I walk into that White House to help President Trump, I will be doing it for you, for your family, for your future, and for this great country. Thank you. God bless all of you, and God bless our great country.
Good night. Goodbye. All right, folks, let me go ahead and get that off the screen, and I will keep it going in case something else comes up, but that's it. That's a lovely picture of the two of them. All right, here I am. Okay, so let me be clear about J.D. Vance, what the issue is here, folks. I have issues with him because he's not genuine. That's it. First off, let's be clear. J.D. Vance doesn't matter. He's a non-factor, just like Kamala Harris doesn't matter. Donald Trump is what matters. Donald Trump is what matters. So I really don't give a flip. I think Vivek Ramaswamy would have been a much better pick. I think that Ron DeSantis would have been a better pick. First off, his whole narrative is all fraudulent. Let me just start with the first thing. Earlier in the speech, this rambling, lengthy, never really hit any high points speech, he tried to tell a funny joke. I went to the Ohio State University. And he said, sorry, Michigan. Well, that's just bullshit. Okay, first off, I went to Ohio University. The whole argument about the Ohio University is because Ohio University was known as the Ohio University because it's the oldest institution of higher learning in the old Northwest Territories, founded in 1804. Ohio State was not founded until 1878. It didn't come around till 74 years after Ohio University existed. So that was why it was the Ohio University. Ohio University went by that moniker for a long time. Then on Monday Night Football, the players who went to Miami started arrogant. There was somebody playing the NFL like the U for the University of Miami because their symbol has a big orange and aqua U. And so that started becoming a thing. And then the Ohio University, they had Michigan or Ohio State players who play in the NFL started saying they went to the Ohio State University. Well, the Ohio State University started appropriating that because they stole it from Ohio University. They went to court over this. There was a copyright infringement, a trademark infringement over this. So J.D. Vance doesn't know where he's talking about. He went to Ohio University, like 10 minutes ago, or Ohio State University 10 minutes ago. This is a situation that goes back over 30 years. I started Ohio University over 40 years ago, and it was already an issue, and it came to a crest in the late 1980s. You're going to say this is trivial, Chris. You're parsing things. I'm not. The argument of the Ohio State University has nothing to do with the University of Michigan. Yes, there's a rivalry between Michigan and Ohio State, but that sounds like somebody who's not from Ohio. Everybody knows there's a rivalry between Michigan and Ohio State. So there you go. Forgive me, I thought you were perhaps sick or drunk. It was your disappointment that made you so. I don't understand what you're getting at, Devet. What do you mean? What made me so what? Made me so what? Okay, so the next thing is he writes a book about Appalachia. He's not from Appalachia. It's a lie. It's called Hillbilly Elegy, and it's intended to insult white people. That's what he does. He insults white people. Uses tropes, racial tropes, stereotypes throughout the book. It's an insult. He takes his experience and throws it across the 26 million people that live in Appalachia, 90% of whom are white. I wasn't slurring. I'm not slurring. You're mishearing. Oops, I'm just looking. They get ready to close it. So let me show you this. This is Appalachia, and I'll show you where Middletown, Ohio is, okay? All right, Middletown, Ohio. There you go. That's Appalachia as defined by cartographers. The cultural region of Appalachia. It's not just the mountains. Some of those counties don't have mountains in them. You can see Pennsylvania is fully in Appalachia, most of Pennsylvania, including right next to where I live right now. But the yellow dot is Middletown, Ohio, located in the flatlands of Ohio, not in the rural foothills of Appalachia. Not even in the generous stretch of adding 5 or 6 counties here that normally aren't part of Appalachia here in the purple. He's not from Appalachia. He wrote a book about Appalachia and lied about Appalachia and insulted white folks. It's insulting. All right, so that's why I had an issue with this guy to begin with. He was not winning his election in Ohio until he changed ships. Suddenly he became a Trump fan because he needed Trump. And Trump wanted to make sure the Republicans got a seat in Ohio. So Trump went all in for him in 2022 so he'd get elected to the Senate. So that's when it became. Now, people could change their minds, but I have a suspicion about people changing their minds. I have been a conservative my entire life. As a teenager, I was a conservative. I believed in a strong national defense, faith, family, and the flag, a balanced budget, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, pro-business, pro-farming. My entire life. I've never changed in that position. Never changed. We all change in some respect, and yes, some of my views have changed over time. Before, I never made a big deal about abortion. It was something it was not something I spent a lot of time on. But as I saw the horrors of abortion and got older, I became staunchly anti-abortion. So that's how I changed. I became more conservative in that respect. But this is just, a person who has been manufactured by the political environment. This is a person who was made. His book became famous not because it was good, not because it was fascinating, not because it was interesting, or because it was accurate. It wasn't most of those things. You could say it was interesting, but it wasn't the rest of those things. His book became famous and on the New York Times bestseller list for 52 weeks, and he was manufactured, and his fame was manufactured by the leftists, by the New York Times. The New York Times and the leftists loved his book. They loved his book. Do you know why? Because he insulted white people for their faith, for their belief in flag, and for their belief in family. All the things he's standing up there talking about now. This is the problem I had with this guy. He rode himself to fame and fortune on the backs of people he betrayed. And he betrayed Trump. He betrayed the conservative movement. He was a rhino until he needed the conservatives to get him elected. And suddenly he's our great champion. Now, maybe he's like Trump in that Trump appeared as something he wasn't until he was needed as conservative. Maybe that's what's going on with J.D. Vance. And I'll allow for that. But I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to. Yeah, thank you. That's right. He's a Dradzita. That's a Dradzita. He sits on the fence. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that he's a great choice. There were better choices. DeSantis is a better choice. Vivek Ramaswamy was a better choice. Borgen was a better choice. But there's a reason Trump picked him. And Trump has a habit of picking people who are disastrous around him. Mike Pence, Jeff Sessions, all his chiefs of staff in the White House. So that's why I don't like him. And I don't trust him for 1 second. His entire speech was bullshit. First off, look, the New York Times and the AP are going to fact check the Republicans tonight. And so is the Washington Post. And when they fact check him, they're going to have a lot to tear apart. Same with Eric Trump, but his speech was much better. But like Martin Luther King was not a Democrat. He was a Republican first off. Let's fix that. This speech was a populist labor speech, not a conservative speech. He may have sprinkled family and he served in the military for a couple of years. He may have sprinkled that in there, but this wasn't about that. This was a speech about how labor and how the working man has been downtrodden by corporate America. And that's not going to fly. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. And it's also not true. Americans can't afford housing because the interest rates are too high. Americans can't afford housing because the federal government has intruded in the housing market, driving up interest rates, even when they were still lower, artificially driving up because they're guaranteeing loans for people who are not creditworthy. People based on their skin pigmentation and their ethnicity are given advantages the rest of us don't get to get loans at lower rates guaranteed by the government, only because of their skin pigmentation or their historically disadvantaged status, driving up the cost of credit. The reason Americans can't afford homes and the prices go up is because the federal government is spending $2 trillion in deficit. This happened under Biden, under Trump, under Bush, under Obama, under all of them. They're drunken sailors. It's not because of Joe Biden. I have never defend Joe Biden. Biden's responsible for inflation. And Biden is responsible for the Federal Reserve raising the interest rates, trying to slow inflation, which has pushed up the cost of house. But that's driven down the cost of housing because houses can't sell because interest rates too high, so people have to lower their home prices. The interest rates are higher, the cost of buying the house is higher, but the purchase price is lower in many cases. He doesn't know what he's talking about. These are talking points, not factual information. And this is frustrating for me. So it really doesn't matter that he's the nominee for vice president, because vice president doesn't matter unless something happens to the president. So that's my issue with J.D. Vance, for those you wonder. I will vote for him. I got no problem with voting for him. I mean, what's the alternative? Kamala Harris? Yeah, no, I don't think so. Don't think so. I will vote for him. But again, I will not trust him. I will not trust him. I will watch him, and I will see his actions. So we'll see. I know his climb. I trust him not, says DeVette. He expanded his wife intro topics. Yeah, his wife was much better. She was entertaining. She was forceful. She was attractive. Yep. Dave says, I respect that point of view, Colonel. Give me something to think about. Well, Dave, we haven't had a chance for me to really expound on it. There's more to it than just that. He is an example of someone that the political establishment has foisted upon us. Who was J.D. Vance before the publication of Hillbilly Elegy? Nobody ever heard of him. And after Hillbilly Elegy, people were talking about him because the leftists were talking about him all day in the media. Whenever the leftists are talking well about you, saying nice things, that makes you suspect. Do you see any leftists saying nice things about me? That's because I'm genuine. So whenever leftists say something good about you, it's time to be nervous. And that's my point there. So he's a manufactured candidate. He's also not poor. He's also not struggling. He's talking about his childhood. Since he entered the Marines, he's never suffered. 3 meals a day, housing, pay. I had that. Now, I didn't become wealthy because I didn't go to law school. I stayed in uniform and worked my entire life defending the country. Nothing wrong with what he did. He served, did a couple years, enlisted, got out, used money to go to school, went to Ohio State University, not the Ohio University, went to Ohio State University, then went to law school and had $120,000 in debt. And his wife is making tons of money. So anyway, this is a manufactured candidate. You notice he was wearing eyeliner? Did you see that? Did you see that? He won't catch me wearing eyeliner on camera. They might put powder on your face. You have no choice when you're on certain programs. But no, eyeliner? He had eyeliner on. Eyelashes. Yeah, eyelashes. They were darker than they should have been. Anyway, it's just a made-for-television candidate. He has the temperament, speaking publicly. He has the communication skill to be effective if he's genuine. I question his genuineness. That's what I question. But it really doesn't matter. Trump is what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Yeah, American politicians seem very much far removed from when they all served the House, the Senate, high office. Exactly. And that's one reason why I ran for office. I will never forget that on Winter Reforger in January 1985, when the steering gearbox broke on my Dodge M80 pickup truck, hauling a communication shelter on the back and a trailer with 2 5 kW generators and 2 30-meter masts for antennas behind me. The steering gearbox, as I turned left, it snapped and it went straight into a church parking lot in the dead of winter in January of 1985. And suddenly I was no longer the primary relay station. I was now superfluous and it was a backup. And the backup went in while they came and finally fixed my truck 12 hours later and then towed me into the site. And I'll never forget that because I no longer had that communication shot, I was extra labor and I wound up pulling guard duty in the dead of winter. They left me in sub-zero temperatures on a 2-hour guard shift for 14 hours, not relieved. For 14 hours, I was on guard duty, freezing my ass off in 1985 as a private first class. I will never forget that I was so unimportant to the world, to anybody on this fucking planet, that they left me out there to freeze to death. My leaders were shit leaders. They didn't care about their subordinates, their troops, and that's their responsibility. And that's why I'm empathetic. And that's why I believe I became a great leader of men and women. Because I do not forget where I came from. I'm the same kid who had to use food stamps to buy lunch meat at the butchery down the street on North Washington Avenue in Scranton, Pennsylvania in the 1970s. I'm the same kid who sold all his albums, his LPs, and his plasma in the summer of 1983 before I went in the Army because I had no money to pay for my rent and to buy Kraft macaroni and cheese and peas, which was my meal every day. The same guy who lived with two smoking hot girls, the Jurek sisters, Debbie and Becky, and thought this was going to be the most amazing summer of my life, and it was miserable because they were potheads and they'd party and spill their disgusting bong water on the floor and eat my food, what little food I had. I'm that same kid. No matter how rich or wealthy or famous I ever become, I never forget who I am or where I came from. My ancestors were kings and Viking conquerors and leaders of the greatest nation in the world at the time, the British Empire, royalty. But I grew up as white trash, and I'll never forget that. I'll never forget who I am, and I'll never get too big for my britches. But some people believe their own press. I'm just saying. Just saying. Well, thank you, DeVette. Served with distinction. Yeah. Who, me or J.D. Vance? He may have served with distinction. I don't know. And I served 36 and a half years and sacrificed much. Sacrificed the opportunity to be incredibly wealthy by not going into Silicon Valley in 1985 or 95 and leaving the Army at the start of the internet revolution. I had that opportunity. I chose to stay and support and defend the Constitution. Now, to be fair, at that time, my salary was, 95, must have been about $30,000, $32,000 a year, not that much money. But I had an opportunity to make exponentially more, not arithmetically, exponentially more money plus stock options if I went to California. And I didn't do it because I wanted to stay in the Army and make a difference. And I had a chance to leave the military in 2015 to 2017, 2018 and go work on Wall Street for Union Bank of Switzerland, among other opportunities, making a shitload of money. And I didn't do it. And I've turned down money since I started doing this. Because it's not about money, folks. It's about making the world a better place. It's about true, genuine commitment to that. You know, I had a conversation today with someone, and I realized that an awful lot of people who purport to be something that they're not, they say they're doing things for a certain reason. They're really just doing it because it's their only way to make money. I'm not making money here. I'm not making money. Thank you all for the super chats when they come in. They are helpful. My internet bill is expensive, but I spend an awful lot of money to do this. For fame? No. Is it nice being recognized in South Africa or in France? That's pretty cool. That's nice that people recognize you and they care about you and they want to say hi to you or take a photo with you and meet you and talk to you. That's awesome. But what's nice for me is that when I meet with the survivors of farm murders and nobody gives a shit about their suffering, about the loss of their sister or their parents or their brother, that like Donald Trump, I listen to their story. And if I'm allowed to, I tell their stories. Because they're people, they're humans. Whether they're black, they're white, they're brown, they matter. That's what it's about. That's why I do what I do. That's what Donald Trump does. Of course, he's a billionaire. That's a big difference between us. He's a billionaire. I'm not. DeVette says, you have, sir. Thank you for that. I guess really wants so badly for the administration to succeed like I have formed PSD for the anti-Trump. Well, Dave, he's one of the anti-Trump people. Look, Dave Ranke, listen. Okay, everybody chill. Listen very quickly here. I am not anti-J.D. Vance. I'm hopeful he's the real deal. However, I'm reserved and cautious. And even if I wasn't cautious because of hillbilly elegy or because he's not really from Appalachia or he doesn't know the difference between the Ohio University and the Ohio State and why that is, even if it wasn't all that and a sparse track record in Congress and the Senate, set all that aside, I have a right to be skeptical. Jeff Sessions, what a disaster. Burr, what a disaster. All his chiefs of staff, what a disaster. Donald Trump, with the exception of people like Ben Carson, picked the worst people possibly around him in his first administration. Donald Trump refused to prosecute Hillary Clinton for felony violations of the espionage code. There's no question. She admitted she committed espionage on public television, on the air. Never prosecuted her. Donald Trump did not stop the insurrection in the summer of 2020. He sat by and allowed it to happen. Donald Trump did not finish the wall. Now, that's not his fault. He had treason and subterfuge by McConnell and Ryan in the House and Senate. But in 2 years, the wall wasn't built that controlled the House and Senate. So I have a right to be skeptical about the people that Donald Trump puts around him, because the track record shows. Look at Omarosa. Omarosa was a nobody. He made her into a star and wealthy, and she betrayed him in the worst way possible from The Apprentice. So he may be a person who appreciates loyalty, but loyalty shouldn't trump competence. Competence should be the guiding star, the guide stone for picking people to be around you, particularly when you're in a very important position like the leader of the free world. So that's, yeah. So there you go, Arctic. Pessimistically hopeful. That's what I am. Okay? Yes. Yeah, so I hope that's clear for people. I don't want people to think that, he hates J.D. Vance. I don't. Also, let me just say something here very quickly about the demon rats who are always calling Republicans racist, especially if they happen to be white. Let's run through the list of things very quickly here. Here's your president, vice presidential pick. Donald Trump, president. His eldest daughter is married to a Jew, but he's called anti-Semitic. And his grandchildren are Jews. His son is marrying a Latina after dumping his hot white model wife, marrying a Latina, a person of color. His daughter, his youngest daughter, smoking hot youngest daughter from Marla Maples, married a Lebanese Arab. And Vivek Ramaswamy married a brown Indian. Oh, these Republicans, they seem to like to dilute their gene pool and marry brown people. So how are they racist? Seriously? They actually still try this narrative with Trump and his family. They're all married people of color. How, with a straight face, do they call them a racist? And we saw, is it Joyless Reed try to attack Amber Rose for speaking at the Republican convention? What did she say about her? I mean, let me see if I can find. I closed that down. So Amber Rose was attacked. The Blaze, I think, is one that had the article. Let me see if I can find it. I posted on Twitter. That's where I'll go. I think I posted on Twitter. Let me see if it's on Twitter here. So let me go to my Twitter account. These people are demonic. They just attack people and call them racist, even if they're people of color. Now, people of color can be racist, so let's be clear about that. We'll get that straight. And Mark Hamill has walking around with wearing a mask, and he's got pictures of Biden Harris. That guy's a lunatic. I don't know if it's an old picture or a new one. Anyway, yeah, here it is. So this is it. So did Joyless Reed get a smackdown from the real Amber Rose? Okay, so let me just, there's a link here. It never shows up. It's on the Blaze. So Amber Rose fires back at Joy Reid after she criticizes rousing RNC appearance. So let's get that over here. All right, so that's done. I got to close that off. Hang on a second. Let me bring it over here. Put this on the screen so you guys can see it. This is from the Blaze. This disappeared off her Twitter feed. I'm not a fan of Amber Rose, but I'm not a hater on her. She fires back after Joyless Reed attacked her. So look at Joyless Reed attacking her. Okay. Model and rapper Amber Rose lambasted MSNBC's Joy Reid after she tried to criticize Rose's speech on the first day of the Republican National Convention. So Joy Reid said, it's ironic that they were able to recruit this young woman who is racially ambiguous. Talk about racist. I don't want to say she's black because she has said she's not, so I don't want to say this black woman. But they brought somebody whose whole career is based in black culture. She used to be on a show on BET. That's the reason that most people know who she is. She dated one of the most prominent African-American rappers in the business, Wiz Khalifa, whom she actually married, in the history of hip-hop. And the fact is that she's a person that they're using to try to recruit people of color and to say that this is the person, the endorser of Donald Trump, who you should trust when she won't even claim the culture that brought her to the table. I am dubious that this will work. Talk about racist. Talk about racist. Now, Amber Rose fired back in social media, and that tweet was missing. She said, hi, at Joy Ann Reid. I've never said I wasn't black. I said that I identify as biracial. I'm not going to invalidate my white father to make you feel more comfortable. Stop being a race baiter. Your president does enough race baiting for all of us. Now, that video, or that tweet got 3.2 million views before it disappeared. Yeah. Wow. So other Democrats recognized just what a threat Amber Rose was to the Democratic position, to their party relying on black support for upcoming elections. This is who said this? Van Jones, the communist in chief. He said that was probably the most dangerous speech for the Democratic coalition. That is a young woman of color. She is describing the experience that a lot of people have, feeling that maybe if you're around too many liberals, you might get criticized too much or you might not be able to speak your mind. And she spoke to it really well. I got to give Van Jones credit. That's one of the most reasonable things that idiot's ever said, talking about Amber Rose. Look, Amber Rose may be morally ambiguous. Amber Rose may be ridiculous with tattoos on her forehead and all over her body. And she may have an OnlyFans account. And she may be known for lascivious behavior. So what? So what? It needs to be a big tent if you want to win. She's got 23 million people that follow her on Instagram or Twitter or something like that. A lot. A lot of young people and people of color. So she's endorsing and backing Donald Trump. So what's the problem? What's the problem? But she was attacked today by conservatives, idiots. But most conservatives came out and defended her. So Joy Reid is demented. Yep. Yeah, there's really something wrong with her. She's just a hideous troll. Yeah, what does a person of people color mean? Exactly. I'm pink. Look at this. This is pink. See that? That's tan. That's tan. That's beige. And this is pink. So I'm a person of color. It's asinine. It's a racist designation to exclude white people. That's what it's all about. It's exclusion of white people. Sounds weird and corny. Some South African youth are starting to use such weird language. Yep. Hey, Hester, how's it going? Like tomato red sometimes. Yep. It's racist to ask your brown wife for a sandwich and to iron your shirt. Dave says, I never thought you were a hater. I just wanted to talk it out. No, it's cool, Dave. That's as long as people listen and give me a chance. Also, remember that in the chat, I can't get everything. I can't get the sense of everything you're saying. It's such a short amount of text and so little time that it's necessary for clarification. So, Devet says, you can have your own commando as far as I'm concerned. Well, thank you for that, Devet. I am a experienced horseback rider and a marksman. And I suppose I could start my own commando. But I'd like to have an Appaloosa. It's not a horse that's well suited for South Africa, but it is for America. Yeah, Joy Reid is demented. Anthony's put something up in Yiddish. I think that I can't see it so small. Yeah. Sedgefield has been here the whole time. Yep. Thank you very much for being here. 223. What's that? Should I know what that is? Should I know what that means? Tibet? Okay. Yeah, no. Van Jones was a communist. He was the what the hell? Some kind of czar for the Obama administration. He's a nasty person. But that's well said. And, Amber Rose was brilliant last night. And tonight was brilliant. Let me, I saved this last night and I saved it again tonight. Let me just talk because we didn't cover as many speakers tonight as last night. Started with Kimberly Guilfoyle. She sounded like an angry woman. That's what she sounded like. She just was yelling at everybody. I wasn't impressed with her speech. Then she was followed by Representative Michael Waltz, the first, not first Marine. Is he the first Marine? First Green Beret to ever serve in Congress. Michael Waltz from Florida. He was very good. And then the very powerful families, Gold Star families of Christy Shamlin, Cheryl Jules, Herman Lopez and his wife, Alicia Lopez, talking about the Abbey Gate deaths of their loved ones who Joe Biden has no respect for whatsoever. That was incredibly moving. That was something else. Then next was, they actually had the kids who defended the flag at University of North Carolina, protected it when these leftists were trying to burn the flag on campus. Then, that was kind of a surprise, we had Shabbos Kestenbaum, an American who filed a lawsuit against Harvard for failing to protect Jewish students because of the anti-Semitism at that Ivy League school. It's ironic because I think that Courtney was here earlier and he said that, the Ivy League school like Yale used to be the den of waspness, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. It was white Anglo-Saxon Protestant male for most of its history. Then it became kind of the den and haven of Judaism. Jews ran everything there for a long time. And now it's a den of bizarre leftist lunatics and Christian haters and pro-Islam crowd and anti-Semitism crowd. It's really weird. But Shabbos Kestenbaum was one of the best speakers tonight. He rocked. He was amazing. And then the family of Omer Nutra, an American hostage in Gaza who Joe Biden doesn't even recognize. 12 Americans still being held hostage 9 months later, and 45 Americans murdered, along with people. 26 different countries from 5 religions are hostages by these ghouls. And Joe Biden is pushing the Israelis to let them suffer as hostages longer. Then an amazing performance, a little bit, he had a little trouble with his speech, but he read his notes. William Pekol, a veteran of World War II, a Silver Star recipient, and a Bronze Star recipient, gave an incredible speech. And then the 9 o'clock hour, Donald Trump Jr. was brilliant. Usha Vance was very good. I enjoyed listening to her, but J.D. Vance, I could have slept through that. Was not impressed with J.D. Vance's speech, but hey, that's who we had tonight. Hang on a second, I want to save this so I've got it. So I don't want it there. I want it on my computer. It always goes by default to frickin' the cloud. I don't want it on the cloud. RNC Day 3. Okay, there we go. You save that. So that's who we had tonight, and that was just brilliant, folks. I don't know if you enjoyed it. I know I did. Are we talking about guns? No, we're not talking about guns. Why? Thomas Homan was amazing. I missed that because I was on the radio. I will take a chance to listen to it. Give a warning to the cartel. Well, Homan, of course, was the former acting director of INS, or whatever they call them now. Tomorrow the RNC is going to be so good. Yeah, I think so. And Dave, tomorrow I'll come on early, okay? I will come on early and we'll cover more of the speakers. I don't know who's going to speak, but of course the keynote will be Trump, so I'll be exhausted when it's over tomorrow, but we're looking forward to what Trump has got to say. He's probably going to be very humble, and we'll see how it goes. Why are you asking for talking about guns, Hester? I missed something. All right, cool beans. Caliber 223. Okay, you didn't put a dot in there. Now I know what you're doing. Okay, I wasn't there before. Anyway, folks, thanks a lot for being here. I hope I've clarified my position on J.D. Vance and what I think of J.D. Vance. Again, to be fair, when Donald Trump came down the staircase in 2015, I wasn't sold. I wasn't convinced. I thought he was a charlatan. I had watched his entire career. The guy was all about Donald Trump, but I didn't know him personally, so it turns out he wasn't. But publicly, what I saw of him was a pro-abortion, pro-Democrat, member of the Democratic Party for decades. That's what I saw. And suddenly he's a Republican. I had my reservations, and I was wrong. Donald Trump was the single most successful one-term conservative president in the history of the Republic. And now he'll be back for a second term. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, today, some more news. Before I came on air, Shifty Schiff, Adam Schiff, the scumbag, lying sack of shit member of Congress from California, who's running for the Senate and will win it in California because people are stupid enough to vote for him. He told Joe Biden to leave the race. As if anybody should listen to Adam Schiff. The guy has no credibility. I have here in my hands the proof that Donald Trump colluded with Russia 6 years ago. Where's it at, Adam? Where's it at? When are you going to show us the proof? There is no proof because it was all fiction and lies. That's what the Democrats do. So Schiff told him to leave. And then we were told Joe has Rona, so he had to suspend his campaign. Later, sources reported that Joe Biden is considering leaving the presidential race. Joe Biden is considering leaving the presidential race. Now, I can't substantiate that. I don't know the province in that, but that is what sources were saying in the media this evening. Yep. Sources were saying this evening that Joe Biden is considering leaving the race. Again, no one told me that. That's what's being reported in the media earlier this evening. So, yeah, there you go. No, I don't think he's going anywhere either, Arctic. I'm just saying what the media are reporting, and I think this is to put pressure on him to force him to leave. Here's the problem. They have over $100 million in money raised from rich people, and if he leaves the race, the money goes nowhere. He has to be officially nominated before he can transfer that money to the person that replaces him, and that's not until the end of August. He's got another month to go plus before he can drop out of the race, or the Democrats lose over $100 million in campaign funds. Sorry, that's the law, man. That's how it works. $100 million they're going to lose. So, yeah, Pelosi needs to tell Joe, I think she runs things around there. I don't think she runs anything. She's too busy putting on her eyebrows. November, that's when it happens. It's just one day. One day. We don't have multiple. Well, we have states that try to have multiple days, but Election Day is that Tuesday in November. So, yep, November 5th. Yep, I know where I'll be. I got to double check when the Springboks are playing because I'm probably going to do the election and get on a plane the next day to go to Europe to watch the Springboks in Scotland, Wales, and England. Yep. All right, cover that from there. So, no, he's not going anywhere, I don't think. But that's going to do it for tonight, folks. I'll be back tomorrow with my regular news program if anything breaks. By the way, for those who are watching the program today, you saw all kinds of shenanigans going on from YouTube. Number one, Nobody's watched the stream except a handful of you. Thank you for that. Got some super chat money. Do appreciate that. How did I get, oh, that's right. I get that $19 came in earlier from we had people chatting. Paulie's been complaining. He's been chatting. Sean Folshank is complaining. They're chatting. Their chat doesn't show up. Ronaldo was in chat today. His chat didn't show up. So then he sent it to me in a WhatsApp. I copied it, pasted it. I put it in chat. It didn't show up from the studio, which is on this screen. So then I went into the broadcast on YouTube in another browser, and I put the chat in there. The chat message wasn't there. YouTube was hiding it because he was talking about, his case with the South African Human Rights Commission. We have several people in the news program today who complained to me that I had unsubscribed them, or why would they unsubscribe? I can't do that. Only YouTube or you can do that. And YouTube has been taking my subscribers all day long. They are evil bastards here. And I know it's not people unsubscribing just because they want to unsubscribe. So let me give you an example here. So on the 15th, 2 days ago, I was at 18,191. Then yesterday I was 18,186. I lost 5 subscribers. Today, I'm at 186, but earlier today, I was at 78. They removed another 8 of my subscribers. They're back to their same shit shenanigans they did before. And I don't know why. I haven't done anything on this channel. I haven't violated any of their rules. Hey, what's with the Portuguese flag there, Sedgefield? Yep. Listen to David Bell of a Medal of Honor recipient spoke at 8 p.m. All right. Okay. All right. I'll have to check on that. Yeah. So, yeah, they're playing the same games. And it's really sad. I mean, what are they afraid of? What are they afraid of? Well, the good news is my live stream earlier went over 1,000. So we got 1,008 views on that. That's good. Not as good as some of the other ones, but yeah. The convention ones aren't drawing much, though. My news are doing much better. That's good news. That carries me through to the occasional video that I got. But that's because I've got a larger dedicated following now because of my recent trip to South Africa. And I'm grateful to all of you watching the program. It's very frustrating to put so much time and effort into doing this and then being harassed by leftist trolls who fear me, who fear the truth, and by social media tech giants who fear me. Gus says, okay, it was Gus. Oh, I didn't recognize you changed your avatar. That's why, Gus. Touchwood was never censored. I hide in the shadows. Because I support Trump? Okay. Oh, they have to double down and try to save the landslide. Okay. Must be the beard. Well, the beard, in case you haven't noticed, is shorter. When I was in South Africa, it was down here just a couple weeks ago. And it's worked its way up to here. And it'll keep working its way up. All right, thank you, Devette. I appreciate that. I don't know if Trump trumps me. I served. He didn't. Just having fun with that. All right, folks, be sure to hit the like button. God bless. Have a good night. I need to get some rest. I'll be up in the morning and back to it. And we will cover tomorrow evening all of it. And don't forget, we've got some rugby this weekend. Let me look and see which ones I can cover here. We've got Portugal, so that's going to be coming up. South Africa versus Portugal, and after that horrible collapse last week. So on the 19th, which is Friday, I'll have the Lions and Griquas in the morning, and then I'll have the Bulls and the Cheetahs later, and then 3 Curry Cup games, and then I have the Pumas and Sharks. So I'm not probably gonna have any news on Friday. I don't know how I'll get news in there because I got 3 games on Friday for Curry Cup. Okay, then on Saturday, Friday I've got New Zealand versus Fiji. Should I cover that? That's at 10:30 at night. Then on Saturday, I've got South Africa versus Portugal at 11 o'clock. Argentina versus Uruguay. Nobody's going to watch that. And then on the 21st, I've got the Griffins versus Western Province. So, yeah, it's going to be a weird weekend when it comes to that. Okay. 7 debutantes playing for the Springboks, by the way, this weekend. So that ought to be pretty cool. Yep, midnight hour. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Take care of yourselves. And I'll catch you later. I'm actually hungry. Bye-bye. Well, that was the wrong thing. What happened there?